Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 489 based on novel. So let's start. Without any recruitment, the sky-high waves collapsed as soon as they collapsed, and countless thick energy ripples rippling through the sky, the entire void was instantly pierced, and it was extremely embarrassing. In the distance, Yueru and Yunyun looked at each other, and they calmed down after a long time. This Xiao Yang really likes to pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger. The attack of that level just now fluctuated, and both of them raised their hearts in their throats. If Xiao Yang had any unexpected events, I'm afraid this girl would go berserk in an instant. But even they didn't know that now, under the guidance of the spirit of Executioner, Xiao Yang slowly controlled the mysterious cauldron that appeared after Fenju was activated. Otherwise, without his guidance, Xiao Yang would still be such a tyrannical method cannot be operated. The flame Xiaoding devoured the condensed holy flame power. Compared with Xiao Yang's hands, the power was more than tyrannical several times. What exactly is this artifact? But why doesn't the artifact that is also the ruler of the gods resonate? It stands to reason that there should be a resonance force between the artifacts. Xiao Yang's complexion changed slightly, and he couldn't help taking a deep breath. His eyes were locked on the exquisite small cauldron on the palm of his hand. No matter how ordinary and dim the cauldron was at this time, in Xiao Yang's eyes, it was by no means simple. Hey, now you know how powerful this thing is? Seeing Xiao Yang realize the power of this small flame cauldron, the spirit of punishing the god ruler made a sound. What exactly is this? Xiao Yang racked his brains and was unable to discern the origin of the mysterious Xiaoding, so he could only ask for help from the spirit of Ju Shunqi. Don't you know? The spirit of execution ruler smirked, but did not answer Xiao Yang directly. Burn Ju's own? But I Fen Ju only cultivated to the second level. Xiao Yang almost said with a bitter face. If I knew that this thing was so terrifying, why did I go to find some fighting skills with great fanfare? The attack power of the great immortal technique, the top immortal technique, is probably not as terrifying as this small flame cauldron. Moreover, Xiao Yang had a hunch that since this mysterious little cauldron appeared because of his own urging of Fen Ju, it might have something to do with the Xiao clan. Actually, I don't even know what it is. However, as your Fen Ju cultivation level is higher, its power and true colors will be fully revealed. Although it's not a divine weapon, its power is not necessarily weaker than Ju Shunqi. After all, this is the most powerful thing that your Xiao family can obtain from the center of the seven realms. I remember that Sheng Yang said that it seems to be trying to tell future generations some news. The spirit of God execution ruler also said with a thoughtful expression at this time. Obviously he didn't know much about these things. When will there still be things left in the practice? Xiao Yang's head was big for a while, and he could only roll his eyes. Hey, little guy. The world of Dakian is very big. Only when your strength has stepped into the fifth layer reincarnation can you stand at the top and see the peak of this world. As far as your current strength is concerned, there are many things you don't know. Went to see. Zhu Shenkai sneered. Boom. The blood-colored giant wave was broken, and the blood-colored ghost that had turned into a blood-colored torrent fell directly from the sky. The powerful shock wave generated along the way turned out to be a deep pit hundreds of meters above the ground of the Sea of Flowers. Blood Demon. Seeing this, the black demon suddenly let out a cold snort. Your opponent is me. Seeing Xiao Yang's victory so quickly, Hua Qing'er felt some surprises in her heart, but she still followed the shadow of the black demon one step at a time. Hua Qing'er forcibly cheered up, her eyes narrowed slightly. The vast power of reincarnation turned into a strange flower, covering the sky and swept away at the black demon. Looking at this appearance, she wanted to kill it here. What an annoying bunch of flies. Heaven and earth shook, a sacred ancient breath emanated from the strange flower. The black devil smiled gloomily, and he dealt with Hua Qing'er. Even now that Hua Qing'er's body has recurred and her strength is not at its peak, the power contained in this body has to make the black devil go all out. After all, that Hua Qing'er is a fifth-order powerhouse. What exactly are you casting? The breath of death haunted his heart, and the gore fiend looked gloomy, and even looked at Xiao Yang in the distance with a bit of astonishment, losing his voice. So weird and tyrannical. Xiao Yang's attack just now relying on the small flame cauldron, its power seems to be higher than that of the holy flame. What kind of power is that? You don't need to know. Xiao Yang took the small flame cauldron back into his body, and the glass-colored flames poured out of his body little by little, and then penetrated into this riddled void. Even if this envoy is seriously injured, are you still trying to suppress this envoy with your strength? The Gore-fiend noticed the holy flames that were tumbling and boiling in the void around him, and immediately ignored his scarred body, but sneered. The heavenly demon array. Suppress me. Xiao Yang naturally knew that the Gore-fiend's vitality, which was as strong as the quasi-quad reincarnation rank, was too tenacious. If he wanted to kill it completely, he would inevitably consume too much of his own strength. But repression is another matter. Boom. As Xiao Yang's voice fell, the whole world suddenly hummed, and chains of flames spanning the entire world appeared from the air, just emerging with an irresistible force of repression, continuously facing the blood the devil roars away. Break it for me. The black devil felt the huge crisis of death. Black horns appeared in his eyes, his palms stretched out, and countless gloomy and deadly auras filled the air. Bang bang bang. Death energy surrounds the palm of the hand, and then gently lifts it up and slaps the void of the formation. That terrifying power actually makes the entire void of the formation tremble. The formation void hummed endlessly, and even slowly shattered, but no matter how huge the attack of the Gore-fiend was, the formation space would quietly shatter, and then completely condense and form. Solved one. Xiao Yang's chest rose and fell violently, and the sound of gasping for breath came out. Now the Gore-fiend is suppressed and bound by himself in the demon formation of the heavens. The next step is to join forces with Hua Qing'er to solve this black demon together. Both the Black Demon and the Gore-fiend are the two generals who sit down with the Bloodstone evil venerable half-evil god. No matter what conspiracy the foreign evil clan has this time, if they can intercept them, they will be able to crack their conspiracy and tricks to a great extent. Come back, get down to business first. Just when Xiao Yang had dealt with the Gore-fiend and was about to join forces to deal with the Black Demon, the void suddenly dimmed, and a blood-colored beam shattered the void at an astonishing speed. Xiao Yang saw that there was a blood-red palm in the blood-colored beam, and there was a chilling and terrifying wave on the palm. At this time, it gently sheltered the body of the Black Demon. But, Lord Evil God, we are about to succeed. Seeing the appearance of this devil hand, the Black Devil's eyes flickered, and he said unwillingly, "Retreat." A voice without emotional fluctuations came from the palm, shaking everyone in this world. The Gore-fiend was suppressed, and the Black Demon was rescued by a demonic hand, but the entire flower sea barrier hummed, and immediately those demonic seas composed of evil demonic energy actually shattered completely. The Huashan Palace has returned to its former prosperity, but at this time, there are many traces of fighting, large and small, among the barriers of the Sea of Flowers, including a lot of blood. Just after the crisis was resolved, Hua Qing'er's cheeks turned pale, and a mouthful of dark red poisonous blood spurted out, and her entire body fell from the sky. Obviously, she was already at the end of her power. Fall. Teacher. Palace Master. Yun looked nervous, and hurriedly broke free from Yueru's shelter, and roared away to Hua Qing'er's position with her fellow teachers and sisters. Not good. Don't go there. At the end of the battle, Xiao Yang showed a slight wry smile as if he was relieved, but the next moment his pupils shrank violently, because the dark red blood sprayed out before Hua Qing'er fell into a coma, suddenly twisted the void lightly and turned into a slap the size of a palm. The dark red magic cloud quietly hangs in the sky. There was a smirk in the dark red magic cloud, and then it was like a falling meteor, directly tearing the void, and blasting towards the position of Hua Qing'er below. Take down the body. A wisp of cold sweat appeared, and there was no time to catch a breath. A short-distance space shuttle handprint was displayed. The cyan-colored lower body was like a huge divine beast with a volume exceeding 10,000 feet, sheltering Xiao Yang and others. Bang! Baxia's body and the dark red demon cloud just came into contact. In just a breath of time, the sound of cracks filled with the most powerful defensive body of the Baxia Dragon King. After the blink of an eye, the demon cloud disappeared, and Baxia above the body, large and small cracks were particularly conspicuous, and even Xiao Yang Yun and the others spurted out a mouthful of blood. Darkness, the devil. When the crisis was lifted, Xiao Yang smelled a nearly destructive force from the dark red demon cloud, and immediately said through gritted teeth, "Teacher, Xiao Yang." Yun's heart tightened slightly, her mind was in a trance. She looked at the two dying figures in front of her, surrounded by jade arms, and instantly wrapped around Xiao Yang's arm. I'm fine. Xiao Yang was breathing heavily, and just about to speak, he sensed the appearance of something soft around him, and swallowed the words that came to his mouth. This girl, why is there something that makes me fear the fire of the holy flame in my body? Is it an illusion? Xiao Yang closed his eyes at this time, enjoying the panic-stricken scene in his arms with peace of mind, but the fire of holy flame in his body erupted with an extremely fearful aura. Today's Yun is the same as Yueru before. They all belong to the first-level reincarnation level. Although their strength is tyrannical, Their combat power is somewhat vain. Xiao Yang. After a while, Yun calmed down and just wanted to heal Xiao Yang, but when she saw the faint smile on the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth, she snorted coldly. Hey. Xiao Yang grinned when he saw that his little trick was seen through, and it was no longer good for him to lean on Yun's lap pillow. Senior sister, teacher she, come and see. Just when the atmosphere between the two was extremely strange, a group of disciples from the Huashan Palace in the distance hurriedly said, let's go and have a look together. Humph. Xiao Yang, how is the teacher's situation? A few minutes later, Yun stared at Xiao Yang anxiously. Xiao Yang gently put down Hua Qing's wrist, frowned, and did not speak for a long time. However, even Xiao Yang himself hadn't found out that Yueru was changing a little bit now, whether it was her breath or her own quality. Of course, with Yun present, most of Xiao Yang's thoughts were not on you. Just tell the truth. Yueru shook her head in the distance, and then her voice was full of regret. Her condition is very bad. The meridians in the body are completely broken, and even the Do Chi Si and Soul Realm that contain the power of reincarnation have all collapsed at this time. Now she is no different from a cripple. Also, because the dark disease has not been cleaned up for a long time, her life is probably only a stick of incense. Xiao Yang sighed heavily, then left Hua Qing and handed over the position to Yun. How? Yun has always had an indifferent temperament, and few things can touch her. However, after the Dochi continent was over, she was taken to the Huashan Palace by Hua Qing. At first, Yun was very opposed to rejection. And the meticulous care of these lively and lovely fellow disciples and sisters in the Flower God Palace made her heart melt slightly. The person who can make her panic or move, Hua Qing is one of them now, and the other is naturally Xiao Yang. With tears in the corners of Yun's eyes, her body tremblingly stood on the spot, like a little girl who lost her most beloved toy and was distressed. Looking at Hua Qing, who was in pain, she was at a loss for a while. Rhyme. Suddenly, Hua Qing waved her fingers and muttered at the corner of her mouth, unexpectedly chanting Yun's name. Teacher, the disciple is here. When Yun heard this, she hurriedly rushed to Hua Qing's side, connecting her fingers to her heart, her voice choked. These years are all wishful thinking for the teacher. The teacher was wrong. Flower God. Maybe it's just a rumor in the great world. If I knew I would live in the center of the fairy world, I don't care how good things are. But the teacher doesn't regret it. At the end of life, the teacher hopes that you can take good care of Shenyang and the jade box. Also, this is the origin of my life and my last wish as a teacher. Hua Qing did not open her eyes, but raised her palm with great difficulty, and a beautiful flower of regret bloomed slightly on it. Rhyme. Teacher, I can't do this. I'm sorry. A low-pitched cry sounded, and Yun suddenly lowered her eyes, crying into tears. Let me come. Xiao Yang looked at this scene, and was really sad, and immediately took out a rather mysterious thing from his arms. Chidu Diversion Soul Cup. Senior Hua, there are still 7 hours of life. After 7 hours, even the Archangel of the Kingdom of Angels can do nothing. 10 minutes later Xiao Yang left from Hua Qing, leaving the last time to a group of disciples of the Flower Palace. Hearing Xiao Yang's voice, Yun's heartstrings were viciously vibrating, as if hesitating for something. The next moment, she suddenly strode forward. Boom tilde. Thank you, Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang walked around at will, and the next moment he felt a breeze blowing across his face, and a figure like a fairy in a flower rushed in front of him. Before he could react, the former's cheeks were close, and a fragrant scent unique to a woman was blowing into his nostrils. It was on his cheek, accompanied by a soft and powerful touch of the shadow, which was particularly unforgettable. After that, Yun's delicate body quickly left, and a burst of crimson filled her skin, which was as attractive as the beauty on a girl's cheeks. A trace of memorabilia and obsession spread out from Xiao Yang's heart, lingering in the barrier of this sea of flowers. So unhappy. Yun, you. Wei's voice, with a domineering and rogue tone, poured out from the bottom of Xiao Yang's heart, looking at Yun with a happy face in the distance. In the last 7 hours left, Xiao Yang was very sensible and did not go to disturb the reunion of the people in the Flower God Palace, but quietly arranged a soul barrier to protect their safety, and instead retreated to the sky. Above. Xiao Yang knew that on the Dochi continent, Yun had too many concerns, and when she added Yun Lanzong, her teacher was so helpful to Ju. Now Hua Qing and Hua Shengong's sisters are sincere, and they are completely melted. Where the knot is. Yun. Xiao Yang stretched out his hand, and his cheeks turned slightly hot. Obviously, the scene just now has proved Yun's thoughts. Sure enough, with the passage of time, human nature will change, especially love. Love cannot be hidden, it will always be revealed inadvertently. Just when Xiao Yang was touching his cheek with a nostalgic expression, there was a buzzing sound in the formation space above the sky, which destroyed Xiao Yang's artistic conception. Little bastard, let go of this envoy. Otherwise, once you let this envoy break free from the suppression, you will be left without food. The Gorfian's hateful swearing voice came from the formation, instantly interrupting Xiao Yang's yaxing. Forget it, just try this time. Can you ask for some useful information? After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he instantly fell into the demon formation of the heavens, but his expression was extremely wonderful, like a real devil. This Gorfiend, who doesn't disturb himself in the morning, doesn't disturb himself in the evening, but at this time he disturbs himself. It seems that in order to press the plot of the evil clan outside the territory, it is impossible not to take some special measures. Guru, what are you doing? At this time, the Gorfiend was restrained and suppressed in the demon formation of the heavens. Countless holy flames tied it up with 5 flowers. Looking at Xiao Yang's unkind figure, he immediately hesitated. Tell me, this time, your conspiracy plan. Xiao Yang came to the formation and asked condescendingly like a master. Ha ha ha. This time, the entire immortal realm, the entire heavenly realm will be ours. Listening to Xiao Yang's inquiry, the Gorfiend did not show any fear, but had a grim expression, and the sound of teeth and bones rubbing was particularly harsh. Immortal realm, heaven realm? Xiao Yang squinted his eyes, lines of holy flame gushing out from his body, and then wrapped around the Gorfian's body, causing him to suffer. The immortal world and the celestial world are originally one. It's just because there are different opinions in the world. But the emperor of the center of the immortal world has a lot of hostile relations with your Xiao clan. In addition to the adults who have already launched an attack. We won the battle of the Fairyland this time. The great war of heaven and earth will begin soon, and the entire great thousand world will crawl under our feet. Gorfian's face was cloudy and uncertain, and he looked extremely frightening, like a madman. Crack. The holy flame fire pattern lingered out, and it turned out to be a little bit of purification that eroded the evil aura above the Gorfian's body, and there were faint sounds of broken mirrors. Even with Xiao Yang's torture, the muscles and skin on the Gorfian's body actually fell down piece by piece, and then in the demon formation of the heavens, they were completely purified and wiped out by the power of holy flame, leaving only a trace of the most evil. The original breath. This breath. Not a human being, nor any creature. The power of the holy flame is extremely terrifying. In just a few breaths, the blood demon is completely refined into a blood-colored air mass, which is his origin. Blood mist appeared in the air mass, but the aura was very weak. After all, under the joint suppression of Sheng Yang and the all-heaven demon formation, the blood demons who were in the quasi-quadruple reincarnation level could only be subdued. Blood sea. Aware of Xiao Yang's substantive murderous aura, the Gorfiend roared immediately, and the entire blood mist hummed, spreading out a tiny sea of blood. He shot at Xiao Yang. Bang bang bang. The seemingly sudden blow did not cause any waves, because when it was about to touch Xiao Yang, a prismatic Rubik's cube suddenly appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. The Rubik's cube is in an irregular state, but there is a terrifying fluctuation on it that makes Gorfiend dread. What is this? It was not until the Devil's Cube poured out that the Gorfiend felt a surge of consternation. Just relying on Xiao Yang's holy flame, it would take a lot of time to purify and refine himself, and he could just take advantage of this time to escape. However, the power of greed contained in the demon cube in front of him made the Gorfiend clearly realize that death is so close. Soul power. Seeing the Gorfiend stagnate in the air for a moment, Xiao Yang saw the opportunity, and the power of his soul spread out instantly, pouring into the Gorfiend, trying to find out. The soul power had just entered the Gorfiend's body, and suddenly a wave of demonic energy surged in his body, and even Xiao Yang was sighing at the density of the demonic energy. Save us. Sir, save me. I am the king of the little heaven, as long as you rescue me, the whole little heaven is willing to take you as the master. In the endless sea of demons within the Gorfian's body, one after another painful voices hurriedly sought help from Xiao Yang's soul power. These guys are now completely swallowed by the Gorfiend in their bodies, and I am afraid that they will be completely transformed into their own power soon. In the end, how many humans have been devoured? Xiao Yang's soul force let out a low roar, then he turned his head and ran to the center of his soul. This guy is neither human nor ghost, and has no entity at all. Instead, it is more similar to the soul body in the world. Only the soul center can know some other things. After a few minutes, Xiao Yang's soul power found the soul center of the gore fiend. The soul center looks like a dry well, and there are drops of scarlet blood dripping down from the well, and the sound is particularly shocking. Looking down along the well head, a group of soul light groups nearly the size of a head poured into the line of sight, but at this time, there were countless dark shackles outside the soul light group. Above those shackles, there is even a rather huge shadowy shadow pervading it, as if suppressing and imprisoning the soul center. That is the figure of Bloodstone Evil Venerable. Sure enough. Devil's Cube. Xiao Yang didn't stay too long, he controlled the Devil's Cube, and with the soul power, poured into the soul center, and quietly probed the information that this guy knew. As for the monstrous sea of magic in the Gorfian's body, at this time it actually paved the way for the Devil's Rubik's Cube, and countless huge gravitational forces poured out. Almost all the magic power in this mighty Gorfian's body was actually swallowed up by the Devil's Rubik's Cube. Even the huge evil shadow of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable slowly disappeared under the endless demonic brilliance of the demon Rubik's Cube. And as the blood demon breath faded away, the half-evil somewhere in the fairy world suddenly realized something. When we destroy the center of the fairyland, the whole fairyland will be ours. While Xiao Yang was concentrating on investigating some information about the extraterritorial evil race in the Gorfiend, a lot of things happened in the Flower God Palace. On a hill in the Sea of Flowers, Hua Qing'e, Yunyun and Yueru sat quietly here. Yueru. After a long time, Hua Qing'e's eyes were reluctantly withdrawn from the huge mansion of Huashan Palace, and she whispered softly, "Senior." Yueru clenched her silver teeth and looked at Hua Qing'e with complicated eyes. "Lord Moon God Palace, she." Hua Qing'e nodded lightly, and then asked. "The teacher has gone away, and was obliterated by the dark demon's seated powerhouse." Yueru seemed to say it simply, but her heart was twisted like a knife. Sure enough. As if she had known it for a long time, Hua Qing'e shook her head and sighed, and at the same time strengthened her thoughts. "But the imprint of the moon god has already been passed down. I will inherit the teacher's last wish and reproduce the great splendor of Lunar Temple." Yueru said word by word, her beautiful eyes filled with a rare firm belief. In ancient times, the moon god and the flower god were sisters with different surnames who had a very good relationship. At that time, their power shook the world. It's just that with the passing of countless years, so much of their power and heritage has been lost. It is still unknown whether there is a god in this world. Even if he was as strong as Hua Qing'e, his voice was a little sloppy at this time. "Teacher." Listening to Hua Qing'e's voice, Yun raised her hand and gently held the former. "By the way, a certain Zeon of the Moon God Palace, the crown of Chang'e should not have fallen. If there is a chance, if you find her, it should be able to help the mark of the moon god in your body. After all, she can be regarded as the previous master of the heaven." The Emperor of Heaven changed the center of the fairy world to the center of the heaven without authorization. Although it caused a lot of contradictions, but before the big situation, we must work together to tide over the difficulties. "The 2 keys should be in your hands, right?" At the end of the sentence, Hua Qing'e said with a slightly solemn expression. Yueru and Yunyun looked at each other, and immediately took out 2 seemingly ordinary jade boxes. There is no ripples of mysterious power on the jade box, but this seemingly ordinary jade seems to have some ancient power before, and with the power of the 2 women now, it cannot be opened at all. The 2 jade boxes just appeared, and they seemed to be attractive to each other, creating a rather strong agitation. "After this is over, go to Yarokai Wonderland, collect the 3 keys, and take out that thing. In the future, it will be up to God's will." Hua Qing'e spoke to herself. "What exactly is that thing?" Yunyun was startled, as if she realized something, and said with some worry, "Water Spirit Pearl. The reason why our fairyland can have such a prosperous fairy, like a fairyland, is actually largely because of the effect of water spirit beads. As for the specific effect of Shui Lingzhu, even with the exploration of our dozens of generations, we have not figured it out. But this thing is said to be related to the battle god. Hua Qing'e spoke very slowly, as if she was caring for an orphan. "Gold, wood, water, fire, soil, and the 5 spirit beads are gathered together to solve the mystery of the fighting god. It's a pity that the 5 spirit beads have been scattered all over the world over the years. Even if we, the heavenly emperor of the immortal realm, have the heart to gather the 5 spirit beads, we only know the whereabouts of the 2 water and soil beads. To collect the 5 spirit orbs, perhaps you can only rely on the 7 realms center or you." Hua Qing'e said. Just after she finished speaking, there was a sudden burst of relief in her eyes. Obviously there was nothing to worry about. "Silly girl, don't cry. This thing should be regarded as the teacher's last gift to you. In the future, when the teacher is away, it will accompany you. Just after finishing speaking, on Hua Qing's palm, two strange flowers appeared slightly. One is the lifelong source compressed by Hua Qing. With this thing, Yunyun's flower ***** body cultivation will not have any problems, and it is only a matter of time to break through the 5th level in the future. As for whether it can be in the 5th level at the level of suddenness, then you can only look at good fortune. Of course, this kind of method is really enviable. After all, depriving the source of the source and giving it to the disciple is no different from the sacrifice. Once the source is deprived, the deprived will also be destroyed in form and spirit, completely disappearing between this world. As for the other one, the stamens of ordinary flowers are as deep as the stamens of ordinary flowers. After the breath, it turned into a small white flower lingering on the palm of his hand. When the flowers surged, it turned the surrounding void into an instant twist, an extremely violent and sacred force. Diffuse from it. Teacher, I don't want it. I will send you into reincarnation later. After several lifetimes, our master and apprentice will meet again. Yunyun looked at the powerful and suffocating primordial flower, but said it strongly. There is no reincarnation. The power of the demon of darkness is too evil, and it seems that it is not something that a demigod can possess. I knew my fate as early as when I was injured. Take it. This is my last wish. Hua Qing shook her head, and immediately looked at Yunyun with a serious face. Hua Qing was alone all her life, and spent her whole life in pursuit of the road to the god of flowers, but she came back without success. She didn't have any descendants under her knees. In these days of getting along with Yunyun, she was very fond of this girl. Take it. Could it be that the last wish of the teacher can't be fulfilled when the teacher is dying? Hua Qing's old eyes were dying, and her beautiful eyes were staring at Yunyun. Thank you, teacher. After a long time, seeing Hua Qing's firm expression, Yunyun nodded lightly, spread her hands, and the two master and apprentice hugged each other. Your Majesty, Chang'e. Yueru quietly left very wisely, and handed the last time to the master and the apprentice. Girl, life is alive. If you like it, then go for it boldly. I missed something too beautiful when I was young, and by now, it's already a different person. Teacher, my disciple knows. The faint voice is as warm as a loving mother taking good care of her daughter. Time is running out. Get ready, I will introduce the source of holy flame into your body. A pure white flower slowly rose and rolled from Hua Qing's palm, and in just a short time it expanded to a volume of tens of thousands of meters. Above the flower, there was a wisp of pure white flame beating slightly. Every time it beats, will whistle the countless monster flowers in the flower god palace, blooming with the power of countless ancient fragrances. This is the 7th holy flame, the 10,000 flowers. It is the pride of my teacher to accept you as an apprentice in this life. Boom. Just after the good voice fell, the whole world suddenly became dark, and a huge source comparable to the peak strength of the 5-layer reincarnation, and a white flower, quietly injected into Yunyun's delicate body. Countless pure white flames fluttered in the wind, and the terrifying fluctuations along the way actually caused the evil power left in the entire Huashan palace to evaporate in an instant, but Hua Qing's body, soul, etc., were quietly broken at this time, and the body and spirit were completely perish here. Disciple, send teacher to you. A cold snort slowly poured out from Yunyun Yuko, but at this time, its aura was climbing at a terrifying speed visible to the naked eye. What movement? Just after Xiao Yan dealt with the Gore-fiend, he carefully sorted out some news about the invasion of the immortal realm from outside the domain. His body was entrenched in the sky, but he felt an extremely hot energy ripple coming from the flower sea world below, and his eyes immediately condensed. Be wary. The next moment, the glass-colored flames gushed out from Xiao Yang's body, and then he let out a low roar like a provoked beast, as if he was on guard against something. At this time, all Xiao Yang's attention was focused on the majestic energy whizzing past in the distance. The extremely surging energy fluctuations actually made Xiao Yang feel an unwarranted powerful depression. This is a holy flame. Xiao Yang was greatly surprised for a while, and lowered his head along the flames of the body protector, but saw a scene that shocked him. A white flower with a volume of 10,000 zhong occupied the entire area of the flower god palace, and above the stamen in the center of the flower, a graceful figure sat quietly on it, and beside her there was even a person who looked only 10. The little girl around the age of 2 quietly waited for this. The little girl looks very green, but she is quite spiritual, and people can't help but like it at first glance. Yunyun. The 7th holy flame, the 10,000 flowers flame core? Xiao Yang's eyes narrowed slightly, and he lost his voice. Even if he has integrated many holy flames, he still feels an unwarranted and powerful pressure when facing the seventh holy flame. The suppression of the power between the holy flames is extremely huge. Just as Xiao Yang wondered why Yun had obtained such a terrifying fire of holy flame, the 10-year-old girl who was entrenched beside Yun suddenly opened her eyes strangely, and then her body disappeared in place. Big brother, I'm so hungry. Can you give me something to eat? In the blink of an eye, this harmless little girl came to Xiao Yang's side, stretched out her white and tender palm and grabbed the glazed flames around her, and said with a smile. The little girl is extremely cute, but at this time she is not polite at all. She actually reached out and grabbed the holy flame on Xiao Yang's body. Her eyes were full of extreme excitement. Xiao Yang did not answer, but his body burned, and the 5 holy flames burst out with an unprecedented sense of crisis. This kind of feeling is like the 5 holy flames in Xiao Yang's body feeling the great power. It seems that they are treated as food by the little girl in front of them. Xiao Yang did not speak, his face was gloomy, his palms slowly moved, and a terrifying flame wave swept out. In any case, the holy flame in his body cannot be swallowed by this guy like this. Hua Ling, don't make a fool of yourself. Return. In an instant, just when the swords were drawn, a light voice, accompanied by a white flame flower table, took the little girl into it. Owner. The figure was bound by the flower platform. The little guy was unhappy, and hurriedly yelled at Yun with a coquettish look. He is my friend. Yun reprimanded with a stern face, but there were countless flowers lingering on her body, and her whole person looked holy and noble. Oh fine. Hearing Yun speak like this, the little guy just gave up and quietly followed Yun, but Xiao Yang could see that this girl was very coveted by the flames on her body. Xiao Yang's head was full of black lines for a while, but considering the actual situation, I am afraid that this little guy is the spirit of holy flame. Although he does not have a clear strength, his combat power should not be underestimated. What surprised Xiao Yang was why the higher the ranking, the more strange the spirit of holy flame was. This is the 7th holy flame, and it was left to me by the teacher. She is the spirit of holy flame, but with the help of the teacher, she has nothing to do with holy flame, just a spirit body with holy flame power. But even the teacher doesn't know the true identity of this guy, because Her Majesty Chang'e once left a warning, saying that this girl is a flower elf left by the flower in the world. It seems to be related to some ancient things. It's a pity that even the teacher and herself don't know about those things. It seems that the memory has been damaged because of the passage of time. Seemingly aware of Xiao Yang's puzzled face, Yun hurriedly came to Xiao Yang and explained. So it is. Hearing this, Xiao Yang nodded in relief. The matter of the Huashan Palace has been dealt with. When the funeral in the palace is finished, these seniors and sisters of yours will guard here. Yueru quietly walked out from the side, and her voice sounded softly. Obviously, during the time she just left, she went to deal with the matter of the Flower God Palace. Thank you. Even though Yun and Yueru used to have a good relationship in the immortal realm, now they said something sincerely. There is one thing that I am a little confused about now. Yun, Yueru, have you met Zuna and Princess Qianqin of the Fire Elf clan? After the matter here was settled, Xiao Yang asked with a frown. It seems that Zuna and Xiao Yi have been away for a long time. Do not know. Yueru shook her head. Zuna, is she here too? Yun heard the words, her delicate body trembled slightly, and then she bit her lips. She came here with me to participate in the alchemy pill meeting. Don't worry. Xiao Yang shook his head helplessly, and then took advantage of the opportunity to pull Yun up with his palm. Humph. After realizing some of Xiao Yang's malicious intentions, the flower elf beside him snorted coldly and instantly separated the two. Xiao Yang frowned and stared at the flower elf. A little bit. The flower elf was like a playful little guy, sticking out his tongue and making a face at Xiao Yang. Well, since everything has been explained clearly, let's go. Yarokai Wonderland. Just after finishing speaking, Xiao Yang, Yueru, and Yun drew bright rays of light all over their bodies and went directly to Yarokai Wonderland. Boom. The group of 4 was extremely fast, and in just a stick of incense, they came to the Yarokai Wonderland. When they arrived at the Yarokai Wonderland, there were endless bursts of light and white mist, and even the void on the ground. The bright red blood and battle marks are particularly obvious. Yarokai Wonderland, I'm afraid it has also fallen. The 3 of them looked at this ravaged Yarokai Fairyland together, with complicated expressions in their eyes, but the flower elves wandered around in a leisurely manner, and even those evil and vicious evil forces could not pose any threat to them. Boom. Just when a few people hesitated, the sky of Yarokai Fairyland suddenly dimmed, and a large number of evil auras like ants were pouring out of the sky, and swarms roared away at the main hall of Yaokai Fairyland. Looking at this battle, I am afraid that Yaokai Wonderland is the place that suffers the most serious persecution among the three major forces. Go to the main hall. Xiao Yan roared angrily, and then the four of them turned into a stream of light, and swept towards the main hall of Yaokai Fairyland at the speed of stars holding the moon. This video will end here.